Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn. In my last video I did a breakdown of the criteria fluency and coherence. We looked at what fluency and coherence means in general, but also in regards to 4 of the bands in IELTS, bands 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the last video was about the theory behind fluency and coherence, but I thought we would activate this by checking out another candidate's speaking test on YouTube. This time it's brought to you by an organization called Ross IELTS Academy. So it's a YouTube channel and they have a lot of IELTS speaking tests with feedback on there. I haven't watched this video before, so I'm going into this fresh, but I will say that the candidate was given a score of 6 overall. I don't know what scores she was given for each individual part, but in this video we're going to look only at fluency and coherence. So I'm not going to say anything about grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary. I'm only going to give commentary on fluency and coherence, so you can see exactly what goes through an examiner's mind, specifically about fluency and coherence. But let's get into it. Let's take a look.
Well, are you ready?
Yes.
From here starts the speaking test. This is the speaking mock test of the International English Language.
I like that. For here starts the speaking test. It's very reverent. It's almost Shakespearean. But it's nice that they are trying to create an authentic experience for the candidate by going through the official introduction and instruction. So that's nice.
Testing system taking place in Ross IELTS Academy. The candidate is Bahar Fakhri Muqaddam. The candidate number is 014-13278. The examiner is Joseph. Examiner number 443533. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Joseph. Would you please tell me your full name?
My name is Bahar Fakhri Muqaddam.
And what can I call you?
Bahar.
Can I see your identification, please?
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect identification.
All right. In the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. First, I'd like to ask you about friends. What kind of people do you like to have as friends?
So it's kind of rare that they start with friends, something like this. Usually you get like, where are you from? Maybe some questions about the hometown. Do you work or do you study? And then some questions about the candidate's job or the candidate's studies. But I don't know. I guess it's possible that they jump straight into a specific topic like friends. But okay, let's see.
Actually, I don't have many friends, but I try to become friends to people who are confident, because I believe they can give that confidence to me too.
Okay, so first thing to notice, no latency. So the question is asked and the answer comes immediately. There's no strong hesitation before she begins. She uses a simple connective with because, and for part 1, the answer is reasonably extended. It's maybe a little short, but in part 1, they don't need like full development.
Do you like face-to-face conversations with people?
Yes, I prefer meet my friends because
So again, she's used because. That's twice in a row. Nothing wrong with that. Because is a very high frequency connective, but immediately, I'm looking for other connectives, but that's okay.
I'm not a huge fan of chatting on social media.
Okay, answer is a little bit short, but okay.
And how often do you meet your friends?
Actually, when I was younger, I used to meet them at least once a week, but these days, because of this pandemic, I couldn't see them.
Okay, so she used because again, but this time she used a different use of because. So instead of using because plus clause, like because I am late, she used because of plus noun, because of the pandemic. And she also started she introduced the sentence with the reason. Because of the pandemic, I don't or I haven't, blah, blah, blah. And this answer is a little bit more developed. When I was younger, I used to, blah, 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 blah. But now, these days, blah, 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 blah. So more extended, better.
Now let's move on to talk about taking a break. How often do you take a break?
To be honest, I like to
Nice little adverbial phrase of comment there, to be honest, beginning. So this is a discourse marker. To be honest, I don't. So that's good. It's something we look for in fluency and coherence.
go on holidays. After my exams, I prefer to have a short road trips.
What do you
Again, answer just feels a little bit short. All of these answers are like answer, but, clause. Answer, because, reason. Answer, and addition. They're very short, mostly two clauses.
usually do during a break?
We usually go to north of Iran on holidays, and I always go to beach.
Again, that same thing. We usually da 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 da, and I da 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 da. Little short.
Prefer a long break or several short breaks?
Definitely several short breaks. I think they're better than a long break.
Now,
Yeah, again, it's not a sophisticated answer. I think they're better than okay. Now, the examiner really should ask why here. In part 1, in the script, the examiner is given a set of questions, and then in brackets, there's the question why. If the student doesn't give an answer, then the examiner should prompt them, and they should say why. And that's the perfect time to step in there, right? I think they're better. Why? Allow the candidate to extend their answer. So her answers are short.
let's move on to talk about science. Did you like science as a subject back in school?
Definitely no, because my major is not related to science. I study math.
What kind of science lessons did
Okay, so that question, that answer, she's lost some coherence there. So the answer, I don't know if the answer really makes sense, if it's really relevant. Did you like science at school? No, because it's not connected to my major. Well, so what, right? My major at university is English language, but I still enjoyed history at school. I still enjoyed geography at school. Just because it's not my major doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it. So really, she should give a reason why she didn't like science at school. Maybe she found it boring. Maybe some of the teachers weren't very good, or maybe she couldn't think of ways in which learning science at school was actually useful for her everyday life. Those would be good reasons why, not, oh, I didn't like science at school because it's not connected to my major. A little bit of an irrelevant answer.
you take at school?
I have chemistry and physics.
And how
It's just short. I have chemistry and physics. Show more. The IELTS exam is an opportunity for you to show your language. And so if you give short answers, there's not really much, we, as examiners, we're not all bad people. We want to give you points. We want to look for good things in your speech, but you have to give us that.
how has science helped you learn better?
As I mentioned, I'm not good at
I like that. As I mentioned, that's an aspect of cohesion, which is good for fluency and coherence. I did mention before that perhaps I would need to make a whole video on cohesion, but as I mentioned before, it's a reference to a previous answer. Nice.
science at all, but I think if I practice more, chemistry lessons would help me a lot in my physics.
Again, coherence, again, watch the previous video. How well do I understand the answer? If I practiced more with chemistry classes, it would help me to understand, or it would help me with physics. I don't know what she means there. She said that her major is math, and now she's saying that if she studied chemistry more, it would help her with her physics. I don't understand the answer, and I won't try to understand.
All right, so this is the end of part one. In part two, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say.
I thought the instructions were not you'll speak about a topic for 2 minutes, but you'll speak about a topic for between 1 and 2 minutes. But okay, not a big deal.
And you can make notes if you wish. But don't worry if I stopped you.
So I should be judging the candidate's coherence, not the examiner's coherence. But you have 1 minute to take notes, but don't worry if I stop you. When examiners say don't worry if I stop you, that should be about the speech, right? So after he gives the notes, he should say, so to remind you, you have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk. Don't worry if I stop you, or I'll let you know when the time is up, or something like that. So I don't know why before the notes he's saying, don't worry if I stop you. But okay, it's not important.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the topic is describe a thing that you bought and felt very pleased about it. Here's your cue card. Here's your pen.
Thank you.
And you have 1 minute to think about it and make notes. Your 1 minute time starts now.
All right, so I don't think they're going to fast forward, so I think I will need to skip ahead. Okay, so far, what do we see from part one? Well, no latency. She's fast with her answers, which is good. She uses simple connectives, but, and, because. She also tries to use some discourse markers, and some with success. As I mentioned before, actually, to be honest, all of that is good stuff, but the critical problem is speaking at length. Really important thing with fluency and coherence is the ability to keep going, as it's written in the criteria, the ability to keep going. That means to continue, to speak at length, to speak for a long time, to extend and develop your answers. And so far, she hasn't done that. Now, speaking part two, of course, it's a monologue. It's a long turn. So she will have the opportunity now. She will have the whole 2 minutes to show that she can speak at length. Let's see how well she develops her answer. I'll just skip forward. Okay.
Preparation time is over, and you can speak for up to 2 minutes, starting from now.
I want to talk about a book. It named I Could Leave Me If I Could. I Leave Me If I Could. It's written by my favorite singer.
Okay, a little bit of repair work and self-correction. That's normal, but let's hope there's not too much.
Her name is Halsey. She's an American singer, and the book is...
Okay, so she's talking about a book that was written by her favorite singer. Okay.
A collection of poetry. I really enjoy to read these poems because I'm very interested to know people.
So she seems to be ignoring these notes, and it's okay. You don't have to follow these notes. You should say this is advice, right? This is to help you with your talk. So, but you can really use you can really use this cue card to structure your talk. So, say what it was. She's already said that, but say when you bought it. As far as I remember, she didn't say when she bought it. You get 15 seconds out of that. What the function of the thing is. So what is the purpose of this book? Is it to tell you the singer's backstory? I think she mentions that. We'll see. But short point is she can follow the cue card to help her structure the talk. It seems now that she's a little bit lost. She's out of her preparation. But let's see.
Lives and their stories, and this book is also about her life.
Okay, so it's kind of the function or the main idea of the book. Okay.
What is like as a well-known person and her mental issues and these things. And I should add another thing that is very important for me. It's my camera. Actually,
whoa, 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 whoa. So the purpose of this task is to describe a thing that you bought. So she's speaking about the book. Take the whole 2 minutes to speak about the book. Do not add another thing. So this shows, for me, this shows that she cannot speak at length about a thing. She needs to speak about two things. I don't like that.
It's a gift which my dad gave me 3 years ago.
Also, the camera is not a thing that she bought if it's a gift from her dad.
However, I don't go to...
Okay, another nice little connective or discourse marker.
To any related courses about photography. I believe I can take good photos.
So noticing a little bit of paint. So I can see maybe, and again, if you haven't watched the previous video about pain, check it out. Just maybe her body language is just a little bit awkward there. The way she's using her hands to like comfort herself. Maybe this shows. Let's have another look at this.
Related courses about photography. I believe I can
she's uncomfortable.
Take good photos, and my family always tells me that I have talent in it. Unfortunately, these days, because I don't have much...
Unfortunately, another nice little adverb of comment. So her discourse markers are really okay. They're pretty decent. Okay.
Free time, I can't go to photography courses, but I'm planning to.
There's no real flow to the answer. I know that I'm pausing this quite often, and so that's breaking up the flow. But you know, she started speaking about the book, and then she started speaking about the camera. And now she starts speaking about how talented or not very talented she is at photography, and that she doesn't go to courses. Like, how is this connected to something that you bought and felt pleased about? So she's gone right off topic. So she cannot speak at length about something specific. She has to go into irrelevant details.
Do it in the summer. But I don't think I'm going to do it as a professional work, because I'm not interested to do this as a job.
All right, your 2-minute time is over. Please hand me back the pen and the paper. Okay,
so just to recap, part 1, okay, but not, the answers weren't really long enough, they weren't extended enough. Part 2, okay, no critical breakdowns or really long hesitation. And again, good discourse markers, connectives are okay, but again, she cannot speak at length about a specific topic, and she includes a lot of irrelevant details which are not connected to the task, and this is a critical point. So already at this point, I'm thinking band 5 for fluency and coherence. If she has a great performance in part 3, which I don't think she will. If she has a great performance in part 3, perhaps it can push her to a band 6, but so far we're looking at band 5.
Thank you. All right, now let's move on to part 3. We've been talking about something you bought that you felt so pleased about it, and now I'd like to ask you some questions related to this. Do people in your country try new gadgets and appliances in the market? Why?
Do people in your country try new gadgets and appliances in the market? Okay, my fluency and coherence has broken down. I don't understand this question.
Why not?
Okay, and also, why not? He shouldn't say that. He should ask the question, let her answer, and if she doesn't give a reason, then ask why or why not. But okay.
I don't think so. I think Iranian people don't like to somehow try new things. Maybe the most important reason is
So she used somehow there, which could be used as some type of cohesive device, but here it's not used accurately. I think they somehow don't like doing it. Well, I don't see the reason for somehow there.
we can't easily access to new gadgets in our country, and we have to wait for a while to.
Okay, so she's a little less fluent here than in part 1, which is normal. Candidates are always more fluent in part 1 and less fluent in part 3, but generally the answer is coherent, right? No, they don't use these new gadgets. Why? Because they're difficult to access them. So again, if you haven't seen the video on fluency and coherence, go and watch it. But I can understand her answer, and I mentioned, for me, a big thing of coherence is that if a candidate gives me an answer, I could walk away and then tell someone else that answer. So if I had a friend who hasn't seen this video and asked me, what does this girl think about Iranians? Do they think that they are ready to try new gadgets? I could tell my friend, oh no, she thinks that they're not ready to try new gadgets because they don't have easy access to them in Iran, right? That's a coherent answer. Again, it's a little short, a little underdeveloped.
Be able to buy them.
And some people find it easy to follow instructions while assembling a gadget, but others find it difficult. Why is it so?
I think always when we want to try a new thing, it could be different for us, but after a while it will easier and be used to it.
Yeah, it's so short. It's more or less coherent. I think she mixed up the words different and difficult, perhaps, but more or less coherent, but just too short.
All right. Do people feel uncomfortable using new products at home or work? Why and why not?
Again, examiner shouldn't say why or why not here. Let the candidate answer the question, and if you feel like she hasn't given an answer, then ask her why or why not.
As I mentioned, it's not easy for them at first, but
She used that as I mentioned again.
I think when they used to it, they become interested in them.
That answer is very similar to the previous answer she gave. Very, very similar. And again, it's very short, and it's not even close to being a full answer.
Do people feel, well, this is what I asked already. Do advertisements play a key role in promoting innovative and trendy products these days?
Innovative? Innovative? Not innovative? Okay.
Definitely yes, because I think advertisements introduce us new things, and without them we can't be aware of what is trend these days.
You know what I'm gonna say.
And are people now preferring to buy local products than imported items? Why?
Not sure about this use of preferring in the continuous, but okay, maybe it's possible. Continuous is becoming more popular.
Why not?
Could you please?
Sure, I'll go again. Are people now preferring to buy local products than imported ones? Why and why not?
I don't think so.
So part 3 shouldn't be an interview. Part 1 is an interview. Ask the question, get an answer. Ask a question, get an answer. Part 3 should be a discussion, right? And so the examiner really should engage in the discussion more. When the candidate gives an answer, the examiner should respond, and the examiner should ask the candidate to give more details. Now, maybe the examiner thinks, her fluency is 5, and so I don't want to put her under more pressure and ask her to follow up these questions. But I really think the examiner should be doing a better job of engaging in the discussion. He doesn't have to give his own views, but certainly he can ask questions to, change the direction of the conversation, or to ask for more details, or to ask for examples, or to ask for reasons. That's what he should be doing here.
Because I'm not like this, I prefer to buy important things, not.
So now is the great chance to say, well, why do you prefer to buy imported things? And then that allows her to extend her answer. Will he do it?
Just simple things.
And do you think good decision making can be taught?
I think schools have plays actually the most important role these days.
So she likes this actually, and she's used it in a couple of different positions. That shows some good flexibility. She's used it at the beginning of the sentence, actually blah blah blah, or I think actually that blah 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 blah. So that's good.
And we can learn a lot of things, not just about our subjects from school. But unfortunately in my country it's not like this.
Again, unfortunately, so a little bit of repetition, but unfortunately, again, is a very high frequency word, so it's okay.
And our schools just focus on education. They don't introduce us gadgets and how we can use technology.
And did you have the same experience?
Yes, for sure. But I think they have to add some more useful classes, like how we can use
So at least he engaged in the discussion this time. That's nice.
Computers, because I think most of people know this, how to use.
And you can see now she's getting into a flow. So when the examiner asked her this follow-up question, then it allowed her to extend, and she actually starts to show not bad signs of fluency towards the end. So I think maybe the examiner could have done a better job in part 3 of asking follow-up questions to give her the chance to extend her answers. Of course, she should do this by herself, but the examiner can certainly encourage this.
Computers, but maybe someone don't know it, and the schools have to learn them.
All right, this is the end of the speaking tests.
All right, so that's the end of her speaking test. I don't know if we'll look at feedback, because I guess he will. We'll take a quick look at what feedback he gives. So fluency and coherence. Let's just check what band I would give her. Okay. Do we have something? Yes. So band 5. Let's have a look at band 6. So candidate can speak at length. No. She can't speak at length. She can't develop her answers. There might be minor discomfort. Certainly minor discomfort. You see it in the hands. But no critical breakdowns. I agree, no critical breakdowns. Some hesitation, yeah, might cause some problems with coherence. There are some problems with coherence, not caused by hesitation, just caused by misunderstanding or giving the wrong information, or giving information that is not connected to the question, especially in part 2. Candidate tries to use a wide range of spoken discourse markers. Wide range, not sure about wide range. There is a range, but I don't know if it's good enough for wide. So let's take a look at band 5. Start from the bottom. The candidate tries to use some. Let's start from the bottom here. The candidate tries to use some other cohesive features, pronouns, determiners. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is a good example of cohesive feature. Cool. The candidate uses connectives and so, but because. Yep, especially because and but and cool. And other discourse markers. Yeah, she doesn't use anyway, by the way, but she uses actually, to be honest, unfortunately, cool, but often repeats them. Yeah, that's true. Hesitates mid-sentence to try to find some basic grammar. I don't know. I didn't see much hesitation about basic grammar, and not much hesitation at all, but that's mainly because she didn't speak enough. Sometimes corrects their language. Yep, that's true. Simple speech is generally fluent, but complex speech causes disfluency. Yeah, in part 1 she was more fluent than part 3. The candidate can speak at length, but only if they repeat their ideas or speak slowly. I would add or give irrelevant information. So she did manage in part 2 to speak for the whole 2 minutes, but not with the relevant information. So for me, this is pure band 5 for fluency and coherence. But let's check to see what the examiner says.
Now you can take a deep breath and relax, and please give me 2 minutes time to review your performance.
Okay.
Speaking course. This course is made up of 5 offline speaking videos in which you will learn all the necessary tips and techniques to take the IELTS speaking test with a high score.
Tips.
To review the performance and assess your speaking performance, the first one is fluency and coherence.
Okay,
the second
great.
is lexical resource, which is the vocabulary. The third is grammatical range and accuracy, and the fourth is pronunciation.
So I really hope that he gives feedback about each of the criteria. On so many of these YouTube videos, the examiner just focuses on small, irrelevant grammar mistakes. Like, oh, you said information, or you said informations, but you should have said information. Or you used the word tool, but you should have used the word gadget. Like very minor, irrelevant, unimportant details. So I really hope we get a breakdown of fluency and coherence and then the other criteria. But let's see.
So let's move on to the first one, and that's fluency and coherence.
Great. Let's see if he gives the same feedback. As I mentioned, I haven't seen this video before. So what he should tell her, the critical thing that he should tell her is that she doesn't develop her answers enough. He can give positive feedback about the use of discourse markers, maybe encourage her to use a slightly wider range to push her to that 6. But the critical negative feedback has to be, number 1, she doesn't develop her answers enough, and number 2, in part 2, she broke it into 2 parts, and the second part was wholly irrelevant, not connected to the task. Let's see.
I gave you a 6 in this part. You were able...
No. Okay. Examiners, it's often a subjective thing, as much as we try to be subjective, but I felt like she couldn't speak at length, and so she cannot get a 6, but that's just my opinion.
To keep going, to speak at length, and really provide answers that are coherent.
Coherent, maybe. Not always coherent, but often coherent, but not at length. She doesn't develop her answers fully at all.
You're not going off topic, you're not going astray, you're not losing track of your sentences.
Well, she did go off topic in part 2. Please mention this.
And you were coherent and fluent, but you need to use a wider range of connectives.
So that's interesting that he tells her that she speaks at length, no problem, but her problem is that she needs to use a wider range of connectives. Now, of course, we can all use a wider range of connectives, but I think that was maybe a strong point of hers. Okay.
Fillers and boosters. You try to show your capability.
So he uses fillers and boosters, but I don't know if the candidate knows what fillers and boosters are. Fillers, words like, boosters are words that make something stronger, like absolutely, completely, without a doubt. So those things that make our points of view more intense, but it's a very specific thing, boosters. I don't know why he specifically chose boosters. Certainly watching her performance, I didn't get the impression that she needs to use more boosters.
In using a wider range of connectives, and this will definitely make you 7, at least 7. If you
No, wider range of connectives will not take her to a 7. She does not develop her answers enough, and that's the critical problem.
pay attention to this part, this is definitely going to make a change in your overall band score. So let's move on to a lexical resource, and that's...
Okay, we won't look at the feedback for lexical resource. So those are my ideas. It's just my interpretation of her score. I gave her a 5 for fluency and coherence. He gave her a 6. Not a huge difference, but okay. If you do have any questions, please let me know in the comments section. But at the moment, this channel is very new and nobody is watching these videos. If you do watch this video and you would like to have a free IELTS practice speaking test with a high level of feedback or a high level of detailed feedback, please get in touch, let me know. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much and goodbye.